Good morning, students. Welcome back to English online classes. Today is the day-10 session. In the previous session, that is the day-9 session, we have discussed about that how the Germans and the British, that is Hans Wolff and the Macpherson, both were sitting and they were happily enjoying the wine and the sausages, and suddenly both the teams they come together and they play the football, but the Germans they won 2 goals. Even though they won the 2 goals, Fritz appreciated the Britishers that their goals were very wider than theirs, he said. And when the time came, all the wine and all the sausages have been completed, because they, after playing, they just ate and drank very happily, and it was time to get departed from Macpherson. He felt very sad. He said, this was my happiest moment I have ever had in my life. I'll never forget. And before going, Macpherson just told Hans Wolff that if the war ends in a very happy way, you can just go and meet your wife and children. He said like that, and just after he salutes to Macpherson and just return back to his dugout. Where his dugout is there. After going the dugout, they started singing the carols of Christmas, because it was a Christmas day. And these people, the British house, they were in the dugout. I said dugout means a shelter of soldiers, made by digging a hole in the ground and covering it. They just hide for the enemies. And they also had another dugout, that is Germans. These people also started singing the Christmas song along with them. And Macpherson said this was the happiest moment I've ever had. This is all he writes in a letter to his wife Connie. I hope so this war will end in a very peaceful way. And the next year I will be with you, my dear wife, he says. And we should be together again soon, I'm sure of it. Because he is sure that the war will end in a very peaceful way and he can meet his wife. He can meet his wife the next year. He said, he'll be for next Christmas, I'll be with you. He said like this. And he said, you are loving Chin. He just wrote. It's not he wrote in a letter to his wife, Connie children. And today is the part 3 children. Today is the part 3 children. I folded the letter again and slipped it carefully back into its envelope. I kept awake all night. By morning I knew what I had to do. I drove into Bridport, just a few miles away. So what did he do? All this he has read the letter. After reading the letter, just he folded the letter and kept the letter in the envelope. And by morning what happened? I drove into Bridport. Bridport is a small town. I said no, children. Because Bridport is a place where Connie lives, children. So just a few miles away from his home. I asked a boy walking his dog where Copper Beaches was. House number 12 turned out to be nothing but a burned out shell, the roof gaping, the windows boarded up. See, when he went there, he saw a boy who was walking with he was having a dog with him. He was walking on the road. He just asked him, where was that Copper Beaches? That is the room number 12. That is house number 12, he said. He just showed that was. So, but when he saw the house, what was the condition of the house, children? It was burnt out shell, the roof gaping, the windows boarded up. So everything burnt out means it was destroyed. The house was completely destroyed. Boarded up means covered with wooden boards. Because the main doors and all have been damaged, so they kept a wooden board instead of that doors, children. So then what happened? I knocked at the house next door and asked if anyone knew the whereabouts of Mrs. Macpherson. So I knocked at the house next door. So when he went near that house, all the house was completely damaged of the burn, because a fire has been, something happened, so it has been completely damaged. What he has done, he just went to the next house. He went to the next house and knocked at the door just to know about the whereabouts of this house. What happened to the house? He want to ask. if anyone knew the whereabouts of Miss Macpherson. Oh yes, said the old man in his slippers. So when he went to the next door, next house, he went there and knocked. There he saw an old man was there. He was wearing slippers. He knew her well. He said, yes, I know Mrs. Macpherson very well. He said like that. A lovely old lady, he told me, a bit muddle-headed. She's a lovely lady. She's an old one, but she's a muddle-headed. Muddle-headed means a confused one. She was a confused lady. Though she was a lovely and very good and very old lady, she was a bit confused. But at her age, she was entitled to be, wasn't she? Yes. Anyone who is very old, they will be a bit confused. They can't remember properly. Their memory will not be that much good like us children. A little bit memory loss may be. It is of her age, you can say. It is not that she can remember everything because of her age she is like that. She is confused means because of her age. She is 101 years old. My goodness, she is 101 years old. What is her age, children? 101 years old lady. You can imagine. She is confused means it's not a simple thing because such an old lady really she'll be confused. She had been in the house when it caught fire. No one really knew how the fire had started, but it could well have been candles. She used candles rather than electricity because she always thought electricity was too expensive. See, she had been in the house when it caught fire. See, you know how she was in the house, but suddenly when it caught fire, you know why it caught fire? Because she doesn't like electricity. She just thought that electricity was very expensive. She used to light candles everywhere, and suddenly the candles, what happened? She used candles rather than electricity because she always thought electricity was too expensive. The fireman had got her out just in time. So because she lit all the candles, it may lit any curtain, something else. Then the whole house was caught in fire, and somehow the fireman came and just managed to pull her outside from the house because they came in time. If they did not come in time, what would happen? She would have died. But the fireman came in time. They just rescued her. They brought her from outside the house. The fireman had got her out just in time. She was in a nursing home. Now, do you know where she is? Now she is in a nursing home because her house has been completely damaged by fire. Then how can she stay in that house, children? She is in a nursing home. Nursing home is nothing but hospital. He told me. Burlington House on the Dorchester Road on the other side of the town. See, now she is in a hospital. You know where is the hospital? The hospital is in Burling House on the Dorchester. That hospital is in Dorchester. It is in the next town, he said. So, I hope you all understood, children, because when he he opened the envelope, he got it all this. He read everything what happened in the beginning, how he got it, and what happened to Macpherson, and everything is in the letter. After finishing reading the letter, he felt very sad. He just kept the letter in the envelope and he thought of meeting that old lady. When he went there, he saw that the house was completely damaged with fire, and he went to the next house, just knocked the door and asked them the whereabouts about Mrs. Coney. They said she was living in a hospital, that is, she was living in a nursing home in it's a small town called Dorchester, which is in the other town. I hope you all have understood, children. There is a comprehension check also here. Why did the author go to Bridport? You all know why did he go to, just to find out Mrs. Coney. How old was Mrs. Macpherson now? Where was she? What was the age, children? Can you tell me? 101 years old. Where was she? She was in a nursing home. I hope you have understood this lesson. Please read once again, and if you find any difficult word, just underline and see the dictionary, children.